I gave my AI agent $2,500 and I gave it a simple goal of returning anywhere from 12 to 15% over a year. And so this is going to be the first video of an ongoing series where I'm actually going to share really just kind of the strategy and really the performance over time of my trading agent that you see that I built right here in Robinhood. So nowadays, people are actually executing trades, not actually on the Robinhood platform, but actually by just giving commands to AI agents like Claude. So as you see here in this case, this agentic account, I actually gave this agentic account $2,500. This was the starting balance. And as you see here, this is new, right? So this hasn't really been going on for a very long time. And so the AI agent went ahead and it picked the stocks to invest in. And as you can see right now, most of them are doing well, except for this ETF right here. And so far, this account has gained $117 in profit so far. But again, this is only the short term, right? Has not been going on for a very long time. And so in this video, I actually just want to share really the structure for what I believe is not just makes a good trading agent, but what makes a really good AI agent in general, right? So what most people do, or really what I see a lot of people doing, is that they're just simply connecting Robinhood to Claude and they're basically telling Claude, hey, go and trade for me, right? And I believe that's really not the right strategy, especially for something like this, right? When it comes to trading, any professional trader or investment analyst or anything like that, they would tell you that they probably spend a lot of their time looking at documents and financial reports and things like that in order to make a really good stock selection. And so we want our agent to do the same thing, right? We don't just want to just rely on Claude or ChatGPT just because it's an AI and it kind of knows everything and is really good at math, right? And so this agent here, so what's actually helped me execute the trades is actually Opus. So this here is just a simple program that I made, but you don't even need this program. You can do it strictly through Claude. And as I click here, you can actually see that I'm actually running Opus 4.8. That's actually the model that's used for this trading agent. And as you see here, this agent fires 2 times a day, right? So it fires at 10:30 a.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, right? And it basically has this automated check-in prompt that you see right here. And basically all this prompt says is just to go ahead, check in on the current position, and really everything else is loaded from its main agent markdown file. So this here is a 400 plus line markdown file, not all written by me. It was written really in combination of me dictating to the agent what my expectations are and allowing Opus to actually expand on really my instructions and give it good concrete rules. So it has its trading change log, it has a holdings that it keeps here, but most importantly, it has the role, session rules, and a lot more context to it. But what I really want to dive into is the tools that I gave this agent so that it can actually make important stock buying decisions. So the first tool that I gave this agent is actually the massive historical prices data. So this here is massive, and massive is a API endpoint service that actually allows you to pull historical stock and ticker information. So in this case, I'm actually using this custom bars endpoint right here. And basically what this does is that it actually allows my AI agent to retrieve historical bars data, right? So it's actually able to go enter in a ticker symbol and it can pull historical stock information. It can pull that information down to, an hour, 30 minutes, a minute, right? Massive is an aggregator, so it gets all of the historical stock information, puts it in a database, and we can pull it through a simple endpoint. And same thing here, Massive also provides a news API. So any new news or anything like that related around a ticker symbol, we can actually use Massive to actually pull any related news. Now, one of the most important things I think this a trading agent can have is actually this Edgar API. So this here is the SEC's website. And so if you don't know, when a company goes public, right, they have to actually publish their financials publicly, right, for investors to see. So as you can see here, one of the ticker symbols that this agent decided to buy is VRT. So here on the SEC's website, I'm just going to refresh it. I'm going to type in VRT. And you can see right here, this is the holding company. And if I click here, you can actually see that this here is the 10Q quarterly report. And they have a bunch of financial documents that are all put right here, right? So I go ahead and just click on this financial report. You can see here that it has a lot of these financial statements, right? These financial statements here. So we can actually start to understand the company's P&Ls. So it has net sales, cost of sales, right? Anything like debt operating margins, things like that will be in these financial documents. And so what I did was I basically pointed the agent to the Edgar site, and Edgar, provided by the SEC, actually has its own API. So I actually connected it through the API, and so my agent can pull all of this information. So basically, the result of all of this is that now that the AI agent pulls all the information, I actually spinned up a database. So I spin up something called a Postgres database. If you don't know what that is, just think about columns and rows, just like Google Sheets. You literally can, if you want to, put this in Google Sheets. However, it's probably better to use something like Postgres, which is a more production grade database solution. It's used by really enterprise companies and whatnot to provide storage for lots and lots of data. So as you see here, I actually was running this financial analysis already. But if I wanted to, for example, I can actually come here and I can actually say, give me the quarterly financials of VRT. All right, ticker symbol VRT. I want to know the P&Ls. All right, and I can actually give this prompt right here. So this here is query logic. This is a tool that I built in order to do more deeper financial or just analysis in general. I work as a product manager. I look at data all day. And so this here is just an AI driven tool that actually helped me create my database. And as you see here, it pulled all this information such as revenue, gross profit, gross margin. But like I said, I was already kind of working on this. And as you can see here for VRT, we can actually see the revenue curve, and you can also see the debt curve as well. So you can actually see that in previous financial periods for this company, there was a time where the debt outpaced the revenue. They caught up here for a brief moment, then financials dropped a bit. They took on a little bit more debt. However, lately the revenue has now outpaced the amount of debt that they have. And so this would kind of trigger that this company is in a much better financial positions. Now, obviously, the AI can analyze a lot more. It can also analyze all of the operating expenses and things like that to actually paint a much better holistic financial picture of where this ticker symbol is. But again, as you can see, by providing this AI agent with all of this information, how much better of a trading decision do you think that this agent can make once it's able to actually pull historical price information, historical stock price information? It can pull news, it can pull company's financial data just like that, right? It's actually able to make a much better financial trading decision. And so right now, all of these tools right here are powering my AI agent. And so now my AI agent is actually able to make a much better, well-informed trading decision. Now, unlike what some other people are doing, this agent is not day trading, right? We're not day trading here. I'm not doing any kind of crazy short-term things. Again, as you see here, the target for this agent was to buy quality stocks on good fundamentals, targeting a 12 to 15% a year rate of return. All right. So as far as contacting me and human in the loop and all of those things, so I actually gave this AI agent full autonomy over this account. The only rules is that this agent cannot trade options, right? And it cannot overdraft the account. It can only buy or sell stocks. And whenever it buys a stock, it must set a stop loss. That way it presents a stock from just kind of crashing to absolutely nothing. And so the agent is the one that's in charge of actually deciding where that stop loss should go. And so I gave it the Telegram tool, right, which is the ability to contact me through Telegram. And basically the only criteria for contacting me is if the agent decides to buy a stock or sell a stock, right? And keep in mind, it does not need my permission to buy or sell. It can do it automatically. It just needs to message me when it happens, right? But if it's just holding on to position, if it's just monitoring, if it's just reviewing financial information, it does not need to contact me, right? It only needs to contact me if it buys or sells. All right. So anyway, again, this is the first video part of a longer series that I actually want to do on this agent. I actually want to see how it performs over time. I want to see, when and why it decides to buy a stock, to sell a stock. So I think this is a really cool experiment to run. And again, right now, this agent and its buying decisions has resulted in a little more than $116 in gains on this account here in the past week, right? So far, for a little over 4.5% return. All right. So anyway, I think it goes without saying, whether you're billing an agent to trade or billing an agent to do anything else, the most important thing is that you give your agents the right data, right? You don't want the agent to just make decisions based on its own merits and that's just doing a simple task. You want to make sure that agent is informed properly, right? So you want to give it the right data, and then you also want to give it the right tools, right? Claude by itself in its current form, it cannot pull quarterly financial information from Edgar. It cannot pull SEC documents, right, P&Ls on publicly traded companies, I had to give it the right tools to do that. Same thing, it could not pull historical stock financial data. If you're in a company and you want your AI agent to make an informed decision, it's very important that you feed it not just the right data, but you also give it the right tools as well so it can get the right data and the right tools so it can actually go and execute on what it needs to. And it's also very important on the kind of strategy you're running. In my case, again, I'm running a fully autonomous agent. It just contacts me to let me know what things have happened. However, if you want to have an agent in the loop, right, or human in the loop, you can also do that through Telegram, where your agent can go, can review a bunch of information. It can contact me through Telegram, and I could say, hey, yes, you can buy it, or yes, you can sell it, right? If I want to run more of a human in the loop strategy, which I can actually talk about in a follow-up video. Right, so with that being said, again, I just want to make this simple video to actually track the longer term performance of this trading agent. So we will see exactly how this thing performs over time. With that being said, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.